Okay.
Okay, it says it's being recorded, but let me just reshare my screen here. So one moment. That was all very strange. But luckily there's editing. Editing is great. Gonna tell you guys one of my weird stories while I'm waiting. One of my Hollywood stories. I miss that behind the scenes in Hollywood. One of the, the E channel, how they used to have that. Because I used to just laugh. Okay. The good news is I can turn on the lighter share function, which is okay. Google has contingency plans for these things. Okay. See if we have the share going here. Looks like yes. Okay. Here we go. All right. It says I'm presenting. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good.
This is so exciting.
All right. So today we're going to talk about AI and automation. And for those of you who were in the workshop or weren't in the workshop, um, we talked a lot about so many different tools, but today we're just going to go over a few different ones. Some of them are the same, a few of them are different. Um, the best thing I can say about the automation and the AI revolution is there's sort of three main principles. One is the idea of people filling out forms, like opt-in forms is going away. And also the idea of people having to type versus talk is going away. And so you'll see the evolution here in what I mean. And the less that people have to type, the more AI is involved. And the more people have to type, the more it's about automation. That's sort of the current fundamental difference. There are lots of other things that are different about AI. Like, so for example, you're able to, with AI, there are what are called cognitive services, and those are services that think on your behalf or translate things on your behalf and things like that. And then there are other services with AI where it, they're sort of it is also considered cognitive services, but it recognizes things on your behalf, so it'll recognize patterns of activity or patterns of words or patterns of images or patterns of sound and things like that. So like one of the most common older forms of AI that people use is the music service Pandora. Have you guys heard of that?
Yep.
So that DJ is based on a data set called the music genome. And that music genome is matches up things. So for example, I have a channel on Pandora called the Lizzo channel because I love Lizzo. And it's my Lizzo channel. And it plays all the music that matches Lizzo's and makes one DJ station. And then if I happen to not agree with the algorithm, I hit a thumbs down, and then it doesn't play it anymore. Or if I say I'm tired of this, it rotates it in a different way. So then I have some channels I've had for 10 years or longer, I think. And it knows exactly what to play on that channel for me because I've just done so much like training of that channel. So that's a very good example of AI. Instead of listening to D Nice on Instagram Live, I go to Pandora. Or sometimes I like D Nice because I just want to see what he's up to. So AI is comparable to that. It can do DJing. It can pretty much do. It can drive. Right? There's now driverless cars. So there's things like that. So basically, it can perform a very specific limited function. So we're just going to talk about a few of those as related to websites and businesses. We won't talk about all the AI. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to go over today is Chat Fuel, which is an automation tool, and it turns your Facebook Messenger for your business into a chat bot. And you can see on here we have a lot of different businesses that use Chat Fuel. I guess 46% of all messenger bots are now Chat Fuel. There are also a number of other tools like this called ManyChat and Octane and so on and so forth. We use them on our Facebook. If you go to our Facebook and you type us a message, there's a few little automated messages on there. Um, Basically, the idea is that you take your customers through the ability to book an appointment with you or to learn something about your service or to find out what you have available. So instead of you having to do all that chatting, it will do all that chatting on your behalf. And then from there, you can you can turn it over to a person, right? You can have it email you or you can have it message you or whatever and tell you, oh yeah, by the way, you have a person sitting here that has some questions and has gone through the sequence already. And so you can do any number of customer service tasks. And you can see on particularly with Chat Fuel, there a lot of people have a huge reduction in cost. So like Lego did their service and they had a 71% reduction in cost per conversion. It just means that basically like they can constantly run education ads, ask questions, do polls, do price testing, whatever through Facebook Messenger. So you can just start directing people once you sign up for Chat Fuel to your Facebook Messenger. Once you have it programmed and you want to make sure that those people are the right people for those messages. And then from there, you can start asking them questions. And so you can do that to test out anything, right? You can even do it before you have a website. You can do it as a part of your Facebook page. You can do it separate from your Facebook page or your website. It's just a good way to have good conversations and be able to educate your customers very, very quickly. Qualifying leads, automated FAQs, right? There's all these kind of different bot functions. And one of the ones I pulled up here is for HelloFresh. So, for example, HelloFresh uses on their 2 million customers. So you can see here, for people who want to know about HelloFresh, you can pick, for example, can I see a menu? And then from there, the chatbot will actually provide the menu for that week, I believe. Let's see. So it says, here are some things I can help you with. Click a category below. So I can go, okay, I want a menu reminder. I can send you a menu for your meals every Friday right here on Facebook. It's one of my favorite activities. When do you want to have your reminder? So I can say, I want to be reminded at 9 a.m. And it says, great, I'll send you a reminder, right? So it's very simple. Anything else? And then say, yes, I want to check out something else. And then I want news, tips, and tricks. So in systems like Chat Fuel, you can program all these options. You can just program the scripts for the chatbot here. And then you can say, okay, I want them to do, these are the items I want them to know about. I want them to know about my blog. I want them to be able to take a quiz and all those sort of different things. So this is, again, a good way for you to test out content, see what people will pick, match people to content, all those sort of things. Let's see what the world breakfast quiz is. If it'll let me. Does it let me do anything? No. Nope. Doesn't look like it's active. And then sometimes, this is a lesson, don't let your chatbot go empty or die. Sometimes that happens too. So people don't have it that's so active. Let me see if I can pull up another one real quick, just as a quick example.
Is there any feedback on their side that that notifies them that their chatbot died?
Yeah, on the chat fuel side, there are different notifications that happen that basically tell you, hey, this many people went through the sequence and then nothing happened, or there was an error here. There was no, they clicked a button and it didn't work. That happens on the chat fuel. On the back end, on the administration for chat fuel.
Yeah, okay. Because you're ostensibly trying to just let it run and then don't look at it too much, right?
Yeah, like on our chat bot, we just have it so that it says, here's some information, here's what you can share, here's your ability to learn more about us, and then somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. And then Facebook will send us an update saying, oh, there's this many people were on there. So, that essentially does it. So, Facebook Messenger was one of the very first chatbot systems that was out there. There are also a number on Slack as well. And there are some tools, chatbot tools, that allow you to publish on Facebook, Slack, on Telegram, on WhatsApp, and all those different ones all at the same time. So you can automate your customer service that way. Let's see what this Adidas one will do. So, like, for example, I have an account where I have the news come to me. I have Golden State Warriors because I want to know, are they winning? Because the Lakers were doing bad at one point, so I just stopped following the Lakers altogether and just went to the Dubs. Um, and then there are a number of things where you're actually like speaking with actual customer service people about your issue. So all of those are different ones you can sign up with. Let's see what this UK one will do. So just click and get started. Let's see if this one's active. Yep, okay. Hope you're staying safe. Looks like that's happening. Okay. Check out our live home team workout schedule with Soul Sisters Fitness on the Instagram below. So this is pretty up to date. So this one's cool because it has what's called a carousel. So we have this on ours with Data 360 where you say, see the schedule, join the home team, more workouts to try at home, right? So they did this for COVID. They donate their purchases, things like that. So each one of these is a page, and then it usually goes to like a landing page. So you can actually use it to drive directly to a landing page as well, not just um, to a particular place in Messenger. Sometimes, like in this case, they have this watch now, right? And then it has all the workouts that pop up. So I think there's a workout company on the line, right?
Yes, queen.
So you see here, there's all these workouts. So you can load workout videos directly in there. That's something we do for our Facebook Plus customers. They need to set up like chat bots or whatever, or they want to set up things like this where they want to promo videos. People like these promo video things a lot. So those are super helpful. And then there are other ones, you can always go back. You can click on the link again and start over, all that fun stuff. Some are more sophisticated than others. Some have games, some have music videos, but pretty much this is kind of the baby version of automation. Does anyone have any questions about the Facebook Messenger bots?
Is it complicated to set these up?
No, actually, what's great about Chat Fuel and ManyChat is you can just sign up. It's free to sign up, and they have a bunch of tutorials that are pretty easy for you to begin to put together your own chat bots and carousels and all that stuff. It took me like 5 minutes. I'd say it probably take the average person maybe a day at most. But it's just really just taking time, kind of focusing on what you want to happen, and then that's it. So we had one at one point. We had one for Women's Day. You can see here we had Beyonce on ours, and we had different things about inspiration we were sending people. So we've had a lot of different things about on Data 360. This was the last, I think last year was the last time we did this for International Women's Day. We did a big bot. And we were sharing things and all that kind of stuff. And I believe this was done in ManyChat or maybe Octane. And then there's ones that also tie to your Shopify as well. So if you have a Shopify cart or if you have a checkout system and you want to sort of say to people, hey, you forgot you left your cart open. So there's a company, Octane, that just specializes in that. And that is AI based with Messenger. Okay, let's go on to the next one, which is called Drift. And we talked a little bit about Drift, but basically Drift is also a chatbot. It's for your website, not for your Facebook Messenger. It's only for your website. They don't have any other systems. So as I mentioned, there are some that have more than one system. There's some that go on your website, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all these different ones. But these are just singular ones. So this one is just for just for the website. And it is also very, very easy to set up, where you can set up a welcome message, you install Drift, you set up your online and offline hours, and it's just a way to have customer service sitting right on your website like so. So you can basically ask any questions, answer any questions, and then you can also run what are called playbooks for your actual website. And so the playbooks are basically where you say, do you have a question? So you can say yes, for example. And it works, you see, it looks a lot like a Facebook Messenger. So you can say, hi. So it has some different options here. Widget not updating, stop widget from popping up, get emails, target question, other. Right, so I can hit targeting question. And then the bot is already pre-programmed to start answering those questions. So the bot says, ooh, targeting is fun since you're currently on the free plan, but targeting by URL device is not possible, but it's on our standard plan. Would you like to upgrade? And you say, I'm okay right now. And you say, I'd like to learn more. And it'll begin to kind of walk them through those sequences. And so when people are walked through these sequences from a sales and marketing perspective, they can be up to, an 80% lift, 50% lift on sales, or getting people to sign up for a trial, or getting people to sign up for a beta, or any of that stuff where you don't really have to be there to do it. The bot will actually handle it for you. And then in the background, there's a dashboard that essentially takes you through how many emails are captured, how many conversations have happened, and all that great stuff. So your job is just to invite people to the page, and invite people to tell the bot their email address and that sort of thing. And then kind of like a MailChimp, right? So we talk about the forms going away. Like a MailChimp, you can actually run different sequences of mail, right? Or if you use Drip or HubSpot or any of those sort of things. The main difference with this is all of it is either semi-automated or completely automated. So you don't have to come up with every little piece, and you sort of get guided on how to put everything together. And those are called playbooks. And playbooks are not unique to Drift. Playbooks are a marketing term that just basically means what's the recipe for getting people from point A to point B to C, so on and so forth, until you get them to a place where they are actually doing what you want them to do, which is also called a funnel.
Is
Um,
there a difference between playbooks and recipes, or is
no,
one no? Okay.
no. So playbooks, recipes, funnels are all basically the same thing. The main thing is the elements might be a little bit different based on the system you're using. So each one of those, when you hear those terms from different providers, different marketing and service providers, there are, they're pretty much all the, similar overall, even though you can add different elements. You can see here there are email playbooks, and then you can create playbooks. There are also what are called signature playbooks, which are playbooks that they already know work, and uh, they're able to give those to you so you can upgrade your account and get those playbooks like right out the gate. Um, so let's look at some of the signature ones just to give you an example. So you see there's chat playbooks, email playbooks, signature playbooks. You can create a playbook. So it's under create. That's what it's under. So here you can see there's different ones. There's ones for live chat. There's what's called an ABM, welcome message, which is for enterprise sales. There's an outbound message under email. There's triggered emails. There's a drip campaign. Under other kinds of bots, right? There are bots for your homepage, bots for your pricing page, bots to have people skip forms if you decide you want to use a form and a chat bot, traffic converters, retargeting, all that stuff. So what's great about Drift is you don't have to come up with any of this yourself. They're automatically there. So all you do is upgrade your account and then boom, you got it. Landing pages, there's a form replacement, right? So replace your form with a dynamic bot. Build a landing page from scratch, conversational content. So it talks about how to build different conversations. And then announcements, right? Slider messages. Um, so you can drive customers to your content. Full screen takeover. So you can take over their screen and start to give them a message. So, these are just different tools. And then they have a full library of resources under the conversational marketing blueprint, and they have training and conferences all around that. So unlike Chat Fuel and ManyChat and the Facebook Messenger universe, this one is more universal for actual marketing on a website. So this takes a lot of the pain of trying to discover what your customers want on your website by constantly having to send them surveys and MailChimps and all that sort of stuff. You can design your bot so that it can do a lot of things all at once. And then you can scale a lot easier than having to design every form, every kind of page, every kind of landing page, every kind of everything. Right. You could just have the bot take care of the conversation. And then if you have specific things that you want the customers to look at or different leads to look at, you can make a page for each one of those when you discover that that's what they're looking for. So one of the great tricks about chatbots is you can ask people if they want to do something and not send them to a landing page. And then once you decide that, oh, there's a lot of people that want this information, then you build out the landing page. So it just saves a lot of time where you don't have to keep reinventing things and then hoping for the best and spending all your money and effort on constantly trying to guess what everybody wants. You can just put it into a conversational system and then have it work that way. We did that with our company. We had thousands of conversations with emails and chatbot systems. And then eventually we learned exactly what our customers really, really want. And then we started to be able to figure out how to monetize that and then put it together. And then we started building out systems and templates and content related to that particular type of conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yes.
the analogy is, having a website today without a chatbot like Drift is like having a catalog in the 70s without a 1-800 number. It's just like if you don't have a way for people to dialogue with you on your website, it's just like it's pretty foolish these days. The only
So a standard to have it.
Yeah, so the only exception to that is if you're using your website for some other purpose. So, like if you're using it for development purposes, or you're doing product development, or you have a wiki, like we're doing product development, we have a wiki, so we don't have a chatbot because we're not interested in chatbot stuff. We're in product development. But if you're openly selling, you're using your website for sales or marketing or fundraising or anything like that, you want to have a chatbot so you can capture people right when they're in the state of looking at your website.
Yeah, it's just so interesting because I personally hate chat boxes. Like every single time they like pop up, it makes me so frustrated. Cause maybe it's just because it's not built right. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it ever like answers the right questions, or you just get stuck because it's like, okay, well, I just like wasted time, and like now I still have to call someone. So I guess like, how do you like avoid, or like either I'm like a small percentage of people. I didn't know that people actually like using them. I guess like, how do you build something that people will like actually enjoy using, that won't just get to a place where you still got to call in or you still don't know, what you went there to look for.
Yeah, that's about design. So a lot of people are lazy and they just put in the default template and they don't actually design it for their audiences, and they don't cater to their audiences in the way that they want to be treated, or they don't see it as a customer service tool. They just see it as a
Right.
like, oh, okay, I'm going to capture some leads.
Right.
So that's about design.
Stop talking about me, Marie.
I was like, have I been on your site? It's just everyone, every site I've been on, I got to find a good chat box. Maybe I'll go on your site. Because I've just been, like, when you were talking about it, I was like, man, I hate those things so much. I do
Yeah.
not want that on my site. But maybe I
Well,
just
I
need to
know
see what it
on
feels like to have, like, a good one.
yeah, Drift has some good ones. We don't have chatbots on our site. We're in product development right now. But there are definitely many companies, especially consumer product good companies. So like, beverage companies, music sites, like a lot of the music sites have great chatbot systems. Things like that. I'll see if I pull up some best practices, because there are some really great ones out there. A lot of times people let them die so quickly. They'll program them for a while and they'll just like abandon them. So that happens a lot too. But there are some really great ones. But I'll see if I can pull up some of the latest and greatest.
Okay.
And then what's happening a lot now is there's a lot of them happening in local markets. So there are a lot of like lawyers and barbers and hair salons and retail stores and bodegas and stuff like that that are all like putting in chatbots just to kind of like handle their website traffics, or now the delivery is so mandatory. There's a lot of that going on, just real practical stuff. Any other questions or thoughts before we go on to the next one?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the other ones I'm going to talk about are more hybrid systems. So this is a system called Keep. And you can see Keep has a little bot here. It looks like it might be Drift, but it might be another one. It's Drift, yeah. Um, so this is a platform that has a chatbot inside of it to help you navigate the system. But basically, it's like a hybrid of a CRM, an email campaign, a drip campaign, automation. It has broadcast, it has chatbots, it has everything in one system. So, as I mentioned, there are a lot of things that get more sort of complicated over time, but also get more automated. So, Keep is like right in the middle of automation. It basically has contacts, so you can load all your contacts there. It has a messaging system where you can actually connect it to your, I believe, like all your social media. um, which is really interesting. So you can kind of unify that, and there are other systems that allow you to do that. And then you can also text. They have a texting system where you can text people on their phones, on their SMS devices. Um, and with each one of these, you can, centralize how you contact customers or how you track people. So if you have certain, like again, if you're raising money or if you're, doing testing or you're doing product development or you're trying to see what works, you will get a lot of value out of something like a Keep because it just helps you kind of keep track of everything. It has your task right here. So you can assign tasks to all these different things. You can add other team members. You can keep track of appointments. You can book appointments and set up a web widget in your system to book appointments. You can track all of your invoicing and payment systems. So it has payment features where you can get paid, do quotes, send a test invoice, do recurring payments. It's just really like everything in one system, right? So it's also your accounting system. You can do broadcast in here. So you can do broadcast messaging, not just email broadcast, but also your text have a broadcasting function. And then there's what's called Pipeline, which is basically your CRM system. Or if you use Trello, it's kind of like your Trello system. So basically, the goal of Keep is to kind of get rid of the fact that you might have so many different systems. You can just set everything up in one piece here. And then there's campaigns where you can actually build out all of the automation for the campaigns in one system. So you can do different templates where you can do quick autoresponders. You can do appointment invitations. You can customize the campaigns. Again, none of this involves any programming. It just involves thought. So you have to just kind of know, like, okay, what kind of invitations am I going to have, right? And then keeping in mind, as we've talked about over the last 6 weeks, the average customer needs at least 10 touches before they buy. It's not to say that people won't convert or sign up or invest or whatever right away, but usually it takes at least 10 touches. So you have to prepare to have 10 conversations, right? Different, varied, great conversations with them about your service, what you do, why it's important, how does it relate to everything else, and what you're doing next and why they want to be a part of it in designing your closes. So this campaign function is there to do that specific job. It's to set up that funnel, that pipeline with all the changes, right? So you bring them from contact to awareness to signing up, experimenting with your products, experimenting with your services, and then getting them into closing. So that's the goal is to bring them through that psychological funnel and make sure that you have a system that supports that. So that's what this particular system is. And you'll see that the name of the page actually says funnel on it and funnel editor. That's why it's using that terminology, is because this actually designs the funnels. And then once you send somebody in the funnel, the system takes care of it, takes them through all the pages, takes them through everything that they need to do. So let's put in test here, and we'll create a new category and we'll call that test. And we'll hit save. And then you can see here on the side, it has all the pieces like we talked about Funnelytics. Same as Funnelytics. It has all the pieces that you have here where you can actually just drag it right over and say, okay, somebody submitted a form. And then you can, let's see, and then you can connect it via a landing page. So let's see if we can, let's see if I can do this. Oh, here we go. No, not like that. So I connect this here. Oh no. Let's do it here. See how terrible I am at this right now. Let's go here. Okay, landing page, web form, smart form submitted, failed purchase, pipeline stage, task completed. So anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and build out this funnel. But basically the point is you can put together all these different things into time sequences. You can set up all these there. So, oh, I know what's happening. It's going to try to make me set up each one of those things. So when I double click on that, double click on each of the widgets, keep also will take you through setting up that particular item. So if you say I want a landing page and you double click on the icon for the landing page, it will actually help you set up the landing page, put together the editor, use templates, all that fun stuff. So if you want to play with learning how funnels work, Keep is a really good system because number one, it's free for 14 days. And so you can play with how those things will actually work, how you put together, which sequences you want to put together. And so you can start to think about, okay, first I want them to go to a landing page, then I want them to fill out a form, then I want to show them a video, and then I want to give them a testimonial, and then I want to whatever, right? And if you're in an investor side, you want to be able to show them all the different parts of your business plan that are important to them, why you have traction, showing them the founders and so on and so forth. So these are all different samples that they have here for you to use. And so you can add this, and then once you add this, it'll take you back to your funnel and your campaign, and then you set up the next element. Does that make sense to everyone? Sorry for the confusion. I was like, okay, remember this software. So with Keep, that's, it makes sure you basically have all the pieces in place. And it has templates by your goal, the webinar, the ebook, the lead generation. You can add in your own templates. So it's really cool just to get you to a place where you have everything set up. And what I love about Keep is it even has like places so that you can see like, how do you put together a landing page with a video that'll convert people? How do you do financial advice? How do you do ebooks? How do you do all these different things? Charity donation, digital agency leads. It has so many different kinds of templates that allow you to customize them so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and then figure out how to start getting appointments or getting people into your funnel. Does that make sense to everyone?
Maria, I have a question. You
Yeah.
mentioned something that I thought was interesting. So you can actually set up a whole landing page sequence that is specifically for investors or specifically for certain people. And this is kind of like what we had been. It's kind of like been the through line, but the investor one was really interesting to me. So how does that work? You create would it be in place of sending them your deck? You actually send them
Yeah.
to your website and have them go through that experience?
Yep. Exactly like this, right? So you have it so that you explain your plan, you have a video. It's like, this is like video sales letter. That's a good example. There's been teams that raised that way, right? Especially in this time with COVID, video becomes super important. And there are even teams that are specializing in helping you put together remote videos or helping you take videos you take on your phone and make them professional. But basically, yeah, you use the same templates, right? And the difference is you're explaining your business plan. So there's a lot of people that do that. They did that pre-COVID in what's called a data room. And there are lots of templates for data rooms out there as well that you can load into systems like this, or you can repurpose any of these to work as well, just as long as they have the elements that the investors are looking for. And keeping it easy. The goal with all these is keeping everything easy on whoever you're targeting. Make it easy for them to understand, easy for them to make a decision, easy for different things. Now, like I said, the exception is product development. Product development is a different thing. But if you're marketing, selling, recruiting, trying to advocate for something, being a community organizer, getting investment, anything that involves recruiting of people, then you want to use systems like this where you touch them so many times, you give them clear education, you give them follow up, right? And you can use the machines to follow up, and then you can personally follow up. So that's why, having systems like this, are useful even long before you finalize your products or services, because it allows you to get a lot of data and feedback on how to put everything together for your business. So, these are tools that you can use for rapid testing, to be able to get direct contact with customers without having to talk to 1,000 people at the same time, things like that. But like you were saying, Camille, having it be engaging and having it be interesting and informative and actually leave people better off than where you found them is the point. It's not to just do it just because it's there, even though we have people that do that. Does that make sense, Todd?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I don't want to keep going on forever and ever, but let's move on to the next one, which is intercom. So intercom is the next level. It's a newer system than Keep. And it has the same thing where it scales sales, marketing, and support. And lots of companies use it, right? And we've used it we actually use this for the beginning of our product development before we entered the latest version. And it's great because it's all about engagement. So it's all about, you can add this to all your devices. It has email, it has chat bots, it has drip campaigns, it has a customer database. I mean, it's just super fabulous for everything, right? And so tools like Keep and Drift are considered competitors to Intercom. But you can see here, if you look at everything that it has a business messenger, customizable bots, product tours, targeted messaging, team inbox, even has customer service. It has apps that you can add it to. It's for every single level of business. So it's, again, another level. Many companies use Intercom. A lot of companies use Keep in Infusionsoft as well. I think primarily the main difference between the two, and even with tools like Drift, is if you are more sort of corporate leaning, or you aspire to build a corporation, or you have more of like you want a franchise or any of that stuff, Intercom is probably a better tool than a Keep. Keep is more e-commerce driven, and focused around how transactions, versus Intercom is more focused on building and maintaining relationships, if that makes sense. So I'll show you our old Intercom account.
That makes sense. Guys, I have to drop off for 5 o'clock, but I will follow up on the video. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Talk to you. All right. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Grace Park.
Hey, Grace.
Hi.
So let's take a look at Intercom. And then also, like, Grace, if you have an app, it's really, really cool because the app actually allows you to put together more robust metrics for your systems. They're very, very helpful for that. And so with Intercom, you can run a lot more experiments. We talked about some experiments that are out there. And you can put together all of kind of your testing, right? So that's what I mean by, if you're more corporate leaning, or you're looking for investment, you want to be able to show traction. Most teams use Intercom for that. They don't use Keep. Keep is more for e-commerce. So let's let the data load here. Todd, have you ever used Intercom? I think you were saying, you didn't know Intercom. Yeah. So
No, I didn't.
Intercom is
No, I didn't.
based in was built
But
probably 4-5 years ago, and I believe Mark Zuckerberg's their biggest investor. Yeah.
now I have a question, Marie. If we're depending on the size of the business, would Intercom be for a company that's already developed all of their different components of your engagement and now they're ready to use Intercom, or is it a place to
No,
start
you can start. We
to build
started
up?
with Intercom, and then all of this you see in our account was built over time. This was built
Got it.
over, I think this first one was like 3 or 4 months. And we just kept loading in people and loading in people. And we started to notice like what was the big database, like how many different data points did we actually keep track of and why were they important and things like that. So you can see here with all of these, we just had, so these are all different campaigns and groups we were like cohorts we were basically running. And then you can see here, like this one was formed through a bunch of different tests, right? So you see when we did an offer, where we did all the different pieces, right? So we're like, okay, these are leads because they stuck around through all these different offers. They're clearly interested in something. We just haven't figured out what they're interested in yet. So that's how we started to know kind of what's going on. So this is the contact database. This is what's called the people side of the platform or the platform. With every single group of users, you can add as many filters as you want. You can categorize them. So this is what takes sort of the aspect of keep to another level. So like, for example, a lot of times when you're raising investment or you're talking to corporate partners or whatever, they're trying to figure out where you fit in the whole universe. And if you can show that you've tested it out with a lot of different audiences and you've gotten feedback from those audiences and you know clearly where you belong because you've already done that work, then it's really easy to kind of get the investors' trust that you know how to mitigate the risk of investing in your company. And you know clearly like what direction things sit, why it's important and all that sort of stuff. So, with Data 360, we kept very copious notes on how our service developed, what things were important, how do we scale, why we're scaling in one direction and not in another direction. So there's not any guessing, right? There's just a clear understanding of like where we've been and where we're going. Yes.
I've got a question. So, where does this fit into the operations of the business overall? Is this controlled by a person that then has the executive team reviewing and overseeing, or is this marketing and communications that's handling it? And
well, it depends on the size of the team. So like in the beginning, in a startup phase or a small business phase, it's the owners, right? Because you don't really have anything else that you do because you don't really have a team yet. So it's the beginning, right, of you knowing that. And if you don't know this stuff as a founder, like it's bad.
got it.
You're not going to get a lot of respect from your corporate partners. You're not going to be able to even talk to a corporate partner because they're going to be, if you say, let me talk to my marketing person, they're going to hang up the phone. And really the same with investors. Like if you're not able to just answer these questions on the spot, they're not really that interested in you.
So similar to your financials then.
Yeah, it's the same. It is your financials. It's what your financials are based on, because a lot of times people just put in pie in the sky financials, and that's we're talking with one of our startups we're mentoring for funding right now, and she doesn't have the proper presentation of her attraction, and we're like, you have to present this properly, you have to show your experiments, and you have to show why it's going to grow to millions of people. And just sending us like piecemeals of and then you don't have any system where you're tracking anything. you don't have any true marketing system and all you're doing is buying Facebook ads, that's not fundable. Right? You have to have tools like this that actually track like what happened and why did it happen and what pathways did you take them on and how did those pathways work. So right, so you can see all these, there's catalogs of these are the playbook examples in Intercom, right, of onboarding sequences and traction sequences and things like that. And so if you're not really speaking that language to an institutional investor or to an angel investor or to any kind of corporate partner, they're just not interested in what you have to say. And then the same with, big customers, right? So enterprise customers. And most customers, want structure. They want to be able to have everything there. So they need to see, you need to be able to take them through your, when they do due diligence, you need to be able to take them through everything. If you have a customer, they need to be able to experience your onboarding, right? And they need to be able to know what your onboarding is about. They need to be able to have eventually have a knowledge base and articles and FAQs and things like that. So that's why this system becomes important, is because this is really your history, your company history of how things need to go. And that, like I said, this is your sort of insurance that they can trust what you're saying, because you literally have the evidence of what you've done and why it works. And they don't have to guess on your behalf, which makes them happier and easier to work with.
Is this across the board in all types of companies and all types of investors?
Yeah, this is how finance works, right? They want to be able to see. So if you're producing reports on your history, your summary, your financials, your assumptions, this is where they come from. They come from systems like this, right? Or they come from more sophisticated systems if you're a major corporation. But they're all similar systems, which is, here's what our customers are doing, here's the cost of goods, here's the LTV, here's how here's all the mechanics, here are the steps they go through, here's the new programs, here's why we're making this strategy, right? It's the same conversation over and over again, big or small, right? The question is, what systems are you going to have that track it, right? And the smaller you are, the more you're going to benefit from automation, especially these little systems. So that's part of why these systems emerge, is to give access, sort of greater access for small companies and SMBs and non-traditional companies to be able to communicate with financial markets, right? So like this thing with COVID, where a lot of businesses don't even know how to qualify for PPP or EDL or any of those things, and they don't have any information, or they don't know where to go or which direction. It's because they don't track anything. They just kind of operate every day and hope for the best, which in a COVID world is not going to be really helpful because you can't hope for the best anymore. There's literally, you have to orchestrate everything, because you have to orchestrate everything for health reasons and you have to orchestrate everything for financial reasons. And that was always true, right? You always had to orchestrate things for health and financial reasons. It's just now it's a much more tightly controlled situation. So, having these tools become super important. And then lastly on this, it also has a reports function that shows, your activity in the platform and that sort of stuff, that ideally would get rolled up into your overall operational reports and your financials and your baseline for your projections. So if you don't have that history, like particularly with investors right now or financiers right now, if you have no history, you're not eligible for no financing. If you're conceptual, there's no financing. So you have to have some kind of evidence of something, right? And ideally 1 to 3 years of history of something to be able to show that you have some kind of business or some kind of something that will be effective. And then if you don't have that, the goal is for you to use one of these low-cost tools to be able to get more effective. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go through the last two pieces. And these are pieces that are more for mid-sized businesses and for enterprises. This is actual AI. So this is Google's natural language tools, which use machine learning, and they track text. So if those of you have noticed probably that Google, when you type into Gmail or you type into search, it like completes your sentences for you, and things like that. So that's the natural language API that is doing that. And so with natural language API, the reason why this is important is because when you have your whole history, right? Your Google Drive, your documents, your Dropbox, your box, whatever, and you have all those texts and tasks and all those different things. With AI, you don't actually have to read those, interpret them, come up with a spreadsheet, come up with numbers, do the report, and then guess what it all means. With AI, you actually just leave that document stored the way it is, and then your AI system, where it says train your custom model, will actually do all of the reading and the analysis for you, and then create the dashboards that you can then send to your finance teams or whatever. So you don't have to examine every single piece of document, every single piece of everything, right? And then you can use people to create better strategies and do different ideas and come up with new campaigns based on the data that the machine is finding. So this is very close to some of the things that Data 360 does, where we take all the data from you, and what we do is we create a model, and then we help you operate your social media, or tell you what to put on your website, or tell you what kind of customers would be better for you versus others. That's what this modeling piece is for. Is to take all that text, right, or to turn audio or video into text and then do that analysis.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yes.
So the let's say, for instance, you have a business model, and that is business model X, and it's kind of a mediocre business model, and you've got all this content, spreadsheets and emails and content that gets put into the machine.
Mm-hmm.
But if your business model is mediocre, the quality of that information going into the machine is somewhat mediocre as well, right? So is it helping you? Is it up to the system to come up? Is it only as good as the information being put in, I guess is my question.
Not in all types of AI. So there's different types of AI. There's AI that's based on the past, and that's called regression. And there's AI that is based on ideals or groupings, right? Which is the AI that Data 360 does. And so mediocre in the regression world, yes, that would be true. That if you put in information that's historically bad, you're only going to continue to get bad outcomes because it's going to be based on the past only. It's going to be modeled on the perspective of the past. With the kind that we do, which are more in groupings and clusters and things like that, what our system does is it actually looks for opportunity in a wider data set than could be viewed by a human, like say millions of records, and looks for opportunity, or what's called a nearest neighbor of opportunity. So for example, it might be a poor performing business model according to the perspective in which it was previously run, but there might be a new perspective that it could be run in that would help it perform better.
Interesting. Okay.
Or the data could suggest ways to fix it. So it could say, here's a way to fix it, or here's a way to take it to a totally different group. and then put it together. So it's all relative, right? To from between, that's why on this auto ML for Google it says insights from customers, right? It's looking at, it's a relative measurement. It's not an absolute measurement, because absolutes are only for humans, because humans don't have access to millions of records in their head. Computers do. And so computers are way better at being relative and opportunistic than humans, because humans have a very narrow point of view, a narrow history and narrow ability to process information.
Yeah.
So that's where, so these tools are slowly becoming accessible through companies like ours to the public, because then, different opportunities can happen. So for example, one of the projects we're working on is to help translate opportunities to people with neurodiversity, different neurological disabilities, or trauma, or people who are underserved, right? How do you begin to offer opportunities to those people, including people affected by COVID? How do you begin to match up the best situation for them, right? They only have exposure to so many things and they're blinded by their trauma. So how do you begin to expose them to other things that they wouldn't normally be able to see or find or look for? So that's an example of AI. So, it wouldn't depend on, a keyword and traffic and somebody filling out a form and saying I'm traumatized and all of that, right? It would just literally be able to say, okay, if this person's filed for unemployment, or this person's homeless, or this person's experienced a flood, here's the probability of their circumstances based on geography, based on what they've gone through, based on the timing, based on the history, and like, here's some recommendations we can make. And so then the AI will automatically contact that person versus waiting for that person to say how they're traumatized and what they need. It would be able to make pretty good estimates of what would be needed. So, and then the same thing with documents, right? So being able to look at business documents and Facebook pages and websites and all those different things, and then be able to say, okay, here are some things that can be improved based on whatever measurement. So one measurement can be goals, another measurement can be the ability to put together a new audience to drive revenue up. It depends on whoever is working with the AI to say, this is what I want, right? Or to say, this business is failing. How do I get it to survive? And then it'll survive to what level, right? Then they need to know, the computer needs to know, okay, survive. Do you mean $1,000 a month? Do you mean $1 million a month? What do you mean by survive, right? Because human beings use these words in things that are not in ways that are not very precise. So that's where, AI can come in, is being able to help focus a business, or focus a government or an opportunity on a specific way of communicating so that things can get fixed. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think that's. Would this be for again? It's kind of a similar question to the last time. Actually, I do have a question. Is this for some, like, a business that is more developed and then trying to get to the next level? Like they've maxed out on their what they think they need to be doing, and then they need to see the open door that they're blind to, or is it something that you can start with?
Yeah, you can start with it. With our company, we focus on having it be for companies that have at least done some marketing or sales. Purely conceptual companies, it tends to be very hard because they don't have the experience of doing it manually to know what to automate, or what they want, or what even the goal should be. They're looking for like a marketing person. So the robots don't quite replace a marketing person or a salesperson. But what they can do is identify opportunity that can be explored by a marketing or salesperson if there's a goal or strategy in place. So typically, it's better if there's some kind of operating history or some kind of experience underneath their belt where they've succeeded or failed or kind of have an idea of goals that then they can actually help direct a service like ours or any other AI tool in the right direction. And that's true of a big business too. I mean, there are giant businesses, old ones, 100-year-old businesses that have the exact same issue.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So like, I was talking to Johnson and Johnson and Liberty Mutual, and they're the same issues last year. So we're like, oh, corporations. It was really a big surprise to us. We didn't realize how many corporations have such a huge issue still with technology in 2020. We were very surprised, or at the time 2019, we were very surprised about how many issues they still had. Okay, so the final tool I'm going to cover here is called Amazon Connect. And let me see if this video will play. Assuming it will play. What it does as soon as it pops on. Oh, here we go.
Anytime you interact with your customers, you want to delight them with a personalized experience. But creating a delightful experience with traditional on-premises contact centers is difficult. They're expensive to maintain, and it can take months to make even the simplest of changes. We realized this at Amazon.com, so we decided to build our own contact center, allowing us to better serve our customers. We scaled it to support millions of Amazon customers and over 1 billion unique customer interactions. And now, we've made this technology available to you. Amazon Connect is an easy-to-use omni-channel cloud contact center, enabling you to seamlessly deliver dynamic, natural, and personalized experiences that enhance your customer service. Every customer interaction you create in Amazon Connect is immediately available across voice and chat channels without any duplication of effort, saving you time and money. You can easily introduce chatbots into your customer experiences by using the same natural language understanding technology that powers Alexa, and you don't have to be an engineer to do it. Now, your Amazon Connect contact center can deduce what your customers actually mean and not just the words they say or type. Behind the scenes, every conversation across every channel can be analyzed by AWS machine learning and artificial intelligence, allowing you to understand your customer conversations without having to manually audit every contact. With low pay-as-you-go pricing, you can save up to 80% over other contact centers. There's also no upfront commitments, licensing, or maintenance fees. So, in the time it took you to watch this video, you could have set up your contact center and started providing a better customer experience. Seriously, stop maintaining legacy solutions and see how Amazon Connect empowers you to start innovating.
So did you hear that okay?
Yeah, no, kind of great. Thanks.
So this is kind of the more, I would say, edgier stuff with AI, where you can actually set up all the things that we talked about using only voice systems with Amazon. And this is actually affordable for a small business. So what Amazon essentially is proposing is to kind of wipe out all the other systems that I just showed you today.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, this basically would cover all the different tools that we kind of went through today, right?
Right.
And do it totally cheaper.
Yeah. So for those who want to sort of accelerate their process with chatbots and voice recognition and all that sort of stuff, literally someone can just call a number and the robot will begin to help them using all of the documentation you provided it and all that. It will make its own conclusions and begin to answer clients. And there's actually a free usage tier. You can actually use it free for 12 months to play with it. And you can also it's only when you pay for it, it's only it looks like 400ths of a cent for each chatbot sent by your customers, agents, or by your contact flows.
Yeah,
So
how do you compete against that?
you can't. So all that stuff where we're talking about building out systems and rule books and all that sort of stuff with AWS, you can actually throw that out the window. So they have different ones. They have a voice system and they have a chat system. And they have all the different parts of you can do that all around the world. You can do it in multiple languages. So you can actually, the fascinating thing about Connect is you can actually be a global business as a startup. And begin to service customers in multiple languages between AWS, Google, and Microsoft. And it will translate in real time. And then you see there are also outbounds for different countries. So pretty much every country in the world you can address for pennies on the dollar. So this is the present/future that provides a really amazing opportunity to do some really, really cool things. So that's AI proper, right? And I would easily say 90 to 99% of businesses don't know that this exists. But it's coming out there quickly, right? Amazon has a very organic approach to things, but you can see here that it does the web and mobile chat. It does what's called contact lens. It connects with Salesforce. There's all kinds of integrations. It has it's a graphical flow builder, so you don't need to know how to program. You can just learn how to use it. They have tutorials. They have people that will get on the phone with you, and all that fun stuff is just literally a matter of design. And of course, our company, we work with Amazon tools, we work with Microsoft tools, and we work with Google tools that all have similar systems like this. Google also has a contact center. Microsoft has a similar Azure component, but Amazon's is probably the most advanced right now. Okay. Any final questions before we stop the AI automation chat for today?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, this was really
Yeah.
interesting, Marie.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this is fun. And we got a few people and then we ran long and they had to bounce. So I hope you guys enjoy this on the replay. And we really look forward to figuring out how to best help you on your journeys. And I am going to stop the recording and the presenting. Let me just get to the ending the recording here. 1 second. And it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Which it took me a whole hour to figure out today. It was like I was almost like a what do you call it? Like a foreigner.
Were you just planning on working on Monday?
I was starting to, and then I was like, something's going on. What's going on? Okay, let me see. Let me get out of here 1 second. I'm almost there. P. Who always makes it mysterious with the codes here? PXJ DQ GR dash PRB. There we go.
So do you do the editing, or is it
Nope. Robots.
Robots. Cool.
Love robots. Okay.